these is my fig tree. If you take a look, it's very well knotted and braided. That's all intentional. That's all that stuff I've done. It's just twisting and bending. And I showed you these 2 branches. Last time were supposed to be tall, but I tied a rock to them, so I'm bringing them down. So you can see how the branches have now kind of, like they're all going to swirl out. This is a lemon tree, surprisingly enough. This tiny little tree is about, well, it's kind of deceiving, but it's about 15 years old, maybe a little less. 30, yeah, so it's about like 12 years old. I've really enjoyed growing lemon trees. I don't know why or what draws me to them, maybe because they're so easy to plant from seed. But I'm going to show you what each one of these looks like. So here is another fairly old tree that I own. This tree is about, well, it's the same as that little one, so it's about 15 years old, 12 years old. And so yeah, I've been growing this tree for a while. It's moved twice. It used to be in a greenhouse, and now it lives probably in my parents' basement. Actually, no, sorry. This now lives in our basement, or at least it did. You've seen a couple videos. And this one, again, I got another lemon tree that I really enjoyed growing. This one, you can tell I've twisted the branches all the way up and through. All the way up and through. And yeah, so you can see how they've kind of been twisted together. See, there used to be a branch there. That's how I twisted that one around. Yeah, and so it's got like these kind of long branches. I know it doesn't look very natural, but you know, I don't know. I find it entertaining, or it makes it worthwhile once I just start twisting things. It makes it a lot more interesting to look at least. So that's this one. And then this is my Daphne. Now I've gave this one a serious haircut. Gave it a little bit of punishment, as my father-in-law would say, and I'll have to cut it again. But you can tell this one's been twisted as well. This here is also that braided one that I've done. You can see there's still 1 rope attached, maybe 2, but this is the growth that I got over the summer. Basically, when I took it out of the room that it was in, it lost all of its leaves, so it defoliated. And then the summer was a little bit tough because it was a droughty kind of year. I watered it as much as I could remember. Like, this is why I do these in such large pots, is so I can forget for a couple of days past when I should, and you know, the tree will still survive. But you can tell it's not doing its best, but you can see the little buds. So it's getting ready to flower, as you can tell. So yeah, I'll show you when all of it starts to flower in the next couple of months, hopefully, if I remember to do something. And this is my bougainvillaea. As you can tell, it's, well, I basically shaped this one too, but I haven't really done much with it yet. It's about, I've owned it for a year, but I imagine it's like 2-3 years old already. You can tell it's slowly starting to get its nice pink tips, and it'll start flowering a little bit, hopefully. Let me see. I don't know how these things work. I only own this thing for, now this is my 2nd year owning it, so I'm gonna go put it in a nice sunny spot and see what happens. Here's the fig tree, and this is the one with all those knots on it. Yeah, there's that old one that I showed you from before. There you go, see? And that's what the pattern kind of looks like, is like just knots upon knots. And knots upon knots. And knots upon knots. And so this one has the twist in the middle. So there used to be a stick there, and I twisted it around it. And then at this point, I let the branches go really long. So it was in my basement, so during the winter, instead of leaving it in the garage, I brought it inside. And the branches grow really long and sticky, and they're really easily manipulated. So you can twist them and turn them when it's all sticky like that, and like really, they're really just stretching out for the heat and the light. Because in the winter, they just basically slow down. Not very much grows on them. Like I had in the last year, you can tell from this little here to here, that was one growth spurt. So that one line to the next line. On this one, you can see the growth spurt is like from here all the way to here, or the growth spurt is from like here and it continues down to like maybe about there. So with these long growth spurts, because it's in the winter inside the house, even though it looks a little bit lanky, it'll grow these really long branches, and then in a couple of years you can twist them all together, and in a couple of years you'll have something that looks along the lines of this, if that's what you're looking for. So yeah. Here are the infamous olive trees, my long travelers. This one has been doing quite well where it is. You can tell it's grown quite a bit. This one, now I need to change the pots. There we are. The olive tree is officially root bound. So once the roots poke out the bottom, you pretty much know that it's time to change. And actually even before that you could figure it out, but anyways, so yeah, this is the tiny little olive trees. They will keep growing. This nice beautiful little pattern, this is my persimmon, whatever it is. And I've got 2 and 3 of these ones, and you can tell I like these nice round leaves. And I split this one, so last year at the end I nipped the bud off the top, and then it grew out in 2 spots. And this one, I don't know, I think I just left them straight. So I've had 3 persimmons live, and these live in the garage now too. And I might even plant them out, one of them outside next year. So that's them. You can see they like being out in the cold, so they're not going to come in tonight. And I don't think I'm going to bring maybe the olives too. Well, that tiny yali pear has now grown into this beautiful plant. It's actually tied to the stick because it was snapped in half right down here somewhere on a windy day. I don't know where it was exactly. I just basically tied it up and left it alone. So you can see this is a full year's growth of that little yali pear that I had in the pot in fall 2011 or summer 2011, and now it's turned into this. So you can see the vacuum. Behind the vacuum is the Daphne. Nope, it's not going to get a lot of light. Nope, it's going to be dark back there, but it's going to stay there. And the other 2 are going to go right, bam, right there. So I'm going to put those. Yep, so I'm going to put them there. I'm going to wrap a blanket around them. Why, maybe I'll just go put that up there. Bam! Oh, there it is. There it is. So now they're all cozy. Alright. So they'll just stay there all winter. Again, not a lot of light. They'll be against the house, so it'll be warm. And, you know, same thing with that guy. It's more about the warmth, not so much the light. Basically, I'm going to force them into a dormancy period. These are the Japanese maple cuttings that I took. You can tell they're all actually doing quite well. So these were taken from one large branch. If you look closely, you can see that, you know, maybe not all of these are going to survive the winter, but a couple of these cuttings will. Where the leaves are, you can see that there's like a little bit of, yeah, buds growing in and all that stuff, and you can tell more so with the ones that lost their leaves. Yeah, so you can see that little red bud growing right there. What I'm going to do with this thing is I'm going to take it and put it inside of my window well. So you can see the window well, and it's covered by a plastic sheet. So basically the heat that's lost through this window will help keep the hydrangea and a couple of the other little experiments I have going on in pretty good condition, because it'll be nice and warm. So yeah, I'm just gonna go put all these in and create like a miniature greenhouse in a greenhouse kind of thing. So this is what it looks like before. There we go, and that's what it looks like all bagged up. So all the bags have been turned over. So each one of those bags will be like a greenhouse, taking in whatever light my basement releases. And then the window, yeah, you can see the plastic there. Window well will become a second like greenhouse. So it'll be a couple of degrees warmer is what I'm hoping.